Have you ever sat in one position for too long, and when you finally move, your foot or hand feels fuzzy and weird? It's that strange, prickly, tingling feeling we call pins and needles. It's a sensation that is both bizarre and a little bit alarming. You might have been sitting on the floor with your legs crossed while playing a game, or maybe you fell asleep on the couch with your arm tucked under your head. Everything feels normal until you decide to stand up or roll over. Suddenly you realize you can't quite feel your own limb. It feels numb, heavy, and disconnected from the rest of your body. It's a strange phenomenon often described as your arm or leg having fallen asleep. Then, as feeling slowly returns, it's not a gentle awakening. It's a fizzy, prickly, sometimes even painful rush of sensation. So what is actually happening inside your body to create this strange event? It's not just a feeling. It's a fascinating process involving your nerves and your blood. To understand it, you first need to think about your nervous system as a massive network of electrical wires, sending messages all over your body. These nerves are the communication highways between your brain and every single part of you, from your fingertips to your toes. They constantly send signals about touch, temperature, and pressure, allowing you to feel the world around you and control your movements. But just like any high-tech system, these nerve highways need power to operate. That power comes from your blood. Your circulatory system, made up of arteries and veins, is the delivery service that brings oxygen and nutrients to every cell, including your nerve cells. Without a steady supply of blood, your nerves can't get the energy they need to send and receive their electrical messages properly. This is the key to the mystery. When you get pins and needles, it starts with pressure. When you sit awkwardly or lean on your arm, you are putting weight on a specific part of your body for an extended period. This sustained pressure does two things at once. It squishes the nerves in that area, and it also compresses the blood vessels that supply them. Imagine pinching a garden hose. The flow of water slows to a trickle or stops completely. The same thing happens with your blood vessels. With the blood flow reduced, the nerves in your limb are suddenly cut off from their vital oxygen and energy supply. They start to power down. The constant stream of information they were sending to your brain about your surroundings begins to fade out. The signals for touch, texture, and temperature get weaker and weaker until they stop almost entirely. Numbness. Your brain is no longer receiving data from that limb, which is why it feels disconnected and asleep. Your brain is essentially saying, "Hello? Is anyone there?" But the phone line has been temporarily disconnected. This numbness is actually a protective warning signal. It's your body's subtle way of telling you to change your position before any real damage occurs. So you listen, you shift your weight, uncross your legs, or free your trapped arm. The pressure is finally released. Instantly, the squished blood vessels open back up. Blood comes rushing back into the area, bringing a fresh wave of oxygen and nutrients. This is where the second, more dramatic stage begins. The pins and needles sensation isn't about the limb falling asleep, but about it waking back up. As the nerves are flooded with the energy they were missing, they begin to reboot and come back online. But this awakening process is messy and chaotic. The nerves don't just switch on quietly and get back to work. Instead, they start firing off a barrage of random, jumbled, and disorganized signals all at once. Think of it like a radio that's been turned back on, but it's not tuned to any station. All you hear is static, fizzing, and buzzing. Your nerves are sending this sensory static directly to your brain. It's a jumble of confused information about touch, pain, and temperature. Your brain, which is used to receiving clear and orderly signals, doesn't know how to interpret this chaos. So it translates the confusing nerve static into the only language it can, that weird, prickly, tingling feeling. Each one of those pins or needles you feel is essentially a misfired signal from a nerve that is just starting to wake up. This uncomfortable sensation continues until the nerves have had enough time to stabilize, recalibrate, and start sending coherent messages again. Once the communication is back to normal, the tingling fades and your limb feels completely ordinary once more. So the big insight here is that the strange feeling is not a sign that something is wrong. In fact, it's a sign that your body is fixing itself. The numbness is the warning alarm, and the pins and needles sensation is the sound of the repair crew getting everything back online. It's a temporary and perfectly healthy process. Your body is designed to protect its communication network from being offline for too long. The prickly feeling is simply the side effect of your nerves rebooting after a minor power outage. So the next time your foot falls asleep and starts to tingle, you don't need to panic or do anything drastic. Simply start to move the limb gently. Wiggling your fingers or toes encourages blood flow and helps the nerves get back to normal a little faster. That strange feeling is just one of the thousands of ways your body works behind the scenes, using bizarre signals to keep you safe and healthy.